In today's video, I want to take you guys through 3 new PlayStation 4 games that have been revealed. These are games that not a lot of people are talking about, and I always like to do a series of videos taking a look at these games that are going a little bit under the radar, so you guys can at least know about them, and whether you buy them on day 1 is up to you. With the majority of these titles, usually I would wait and see how the reviews turn out. I would probably add it to your wish list, see how the pricing turns out, and elements like that. But without further ado, we've got 3 cool new games to go over, so let's get right into it. And I want to start off with a game that has really captured my interest, and that is Warlander. This is a game that's seeing some comparisons to other action titles like Metal Gear Rising. However, it looks to be an action-adventure open-world title, and it has you wreck your path of vengeance in a world torn by the conflict between the old gods and a new techno order. Every move you make in Warlander's combat has consequences and stimulates a feeling of close-quarters fighting, rewarding strikes aimed at exposed flesh, and punishing thoughtless attacks. You play as a resurrected hero on a warpath of vengeance, aim precisely and slice through the flesh of your enemies in a unique take on stamina-based combat. That's where the comparisons to Metal Gear Rising is coming from. If you guys remember the hack-and-slash gameplay to that, Warlander is doing something pretty similar, at least based on what I can see. You grow stronger in power throughout the game, either by chopping your way across the battlefield or by using abilities to turn the environment itself into a deadly weapon. You'll wield a blade with a mind of its own while you fight and sacrifice enemies to appease the ancient gods. Again, the game features a unique combat system featuring skill-based fight with precise targeting and tactical approach. It touts satisfying swordplay, giving you the feeling of cutting through real flesh with unique real-time mesh slicing mechanics. You've got versatile combat powers there based on ancient druid magic and long-forgotten secrets from the darkest paths of the forest. And of course, throughout the game, you will progress your character through a skill tree, and it's tied within the game world. Hunt your enemies, cut them down into offerings, and sacrifice them to upgrade your skills and powers. And the game isn't just all gameplay. Although the gameplay is very stylish and looks to be very satisfying, it's also got a grim and intense world with an epic story based on revenge, betrayal, and a faint glimmer of hope. And it rounds things out with an interactive environment. The environment itself, again, is a battlefield, and itself is a weapon. Be observant, think on your feet, and use the surroundings to crush your enemies and progress through the levels. They showcase some of the different elements you can use with the environment, such as throwing your sword and causing boulders to crash down. This looks to be a pretty interesting game. The gameplay to me looks a little bit stiff, but I'm interested to see what Clock Drive Games can bring out with Warlanders. This is their first title. It's a self-published game, and it's one that I do think has quite a bit of potential. Will be interesting to see how they price it, because just based on looking at the gameplay, I don't think this will be worth a full $60 price point. I think they have to get the pricing right with this. A $39.99 or $29.99 price point I think would be perfect, but to see how this game continues to turn out, I definitely have some interest in it. And they also are setting out some audio dramas, and they put out the first one just a week ago, and they noted this audio drama is the first installment of Warlander, Bad Time Stories, which seeks to expand the lore, the world, and the backstories of Warlander and its characters. They did this because, quote, our writer thinks that the internet has spoiled people and that no one reads anymore, so a couple of us from the studio got together and made this DIY episode, turning the story into an engaging experience. So while gameplay has been a fundamental topic I've been talking about with Warlander, it looks like they're also putting in a lot of effort into building a narrative, building a compelling world, building a backstory with the characters, and that's what we're probably going to see out of Warlander. Again, a game to keep your eyes on, and I think it could turn out to be pretty good. Next one is a game that I mentioned pretty recently, and it's out very soon, and that is American Fugitive. This will be dropping May 21st. It was a recently announced game to come to the PlayStation 4, but it's a really cool game as well. It's a modern take on classic sandbox action. Framed for your father's murder, you'll need to do whatever it takes to unveil the real culprit, tackle thrilling missions for the criminal underworld, just don't let the cops track you down. It's offering a new 3D top-down open-world single-player experience developed by Fallen Tree Games. The 2 studio founders have extended AAA backgrounds, including working on titles such as Time Splitters, Crisis, Black, and GoldenEye 007 Reloaded. The game welcomes you to Red Rock County, a sleepy American town with a booming criminal underbelly. You take on the role of Will Riley, no angel for sure, but not a killer. The cold-blooded murder of your dad is the crime they locked you up for, but you were framed for that murder. Fueled by grief and a burning desire for vengeance, you'll bust out of jail intent on finding the real culprit, but busting out of jail already lends itself to its own problems. Once outside, you'll need to blend in with the townsfolk to avoid recapture, establish contact with the criminal underworld, and stay one step ahead of the police dragnet. The game is set in the deep south of the 1980s. American Fugitive is a love letter to the classic movies and games of old. It's a modern take on classic sandbox action. Rediscover the joy of top-down carnage with stunning 3D graphics and destructible environments, dramatic storytelling, and epic car chase mayhem. It's also a mature action game based on an original story. Unravel a plot of mystery, deception, and corruption full of twists and turns, inhabited by a motley cast of lawbreakers and law enforcers. Expect Red Rock County on foot, on by car, a beautiful and vibrant slice of 80s rural USA. And even though you're a good guy, you'll be able to rob houses, steal cars, arm yourself to the teeth. Just don't get caught while you're doing that, because that's gonna lead you to getting recaptured. And you'll test yourself against time trial challenges and stunt jumps dotted throughout the world using any of the numerous vehicles, and a wealth of activities are in the game outside of the main story, whether you're undertaking jobs for the criminal underworld, uncovering hidden stashes, looting houses, sticking up stores, or fencing fine art. Remain vigilant, the crooked cops will stop at nothing to see you back behind bars. This game reminds me a lot of like Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. It's definitely got a presentation style like that, and I think this could turn out to be one of the more surprising games of early 2019. We'll see how it turns out. We don't have an exact price for it. I think a $19.99 price point would be really good, and that's where American Fugitive would really thrive. If it's priced at say $29.99 or $39.99, I think at that point it's getting a little bit too expensive, but at $19.99 I do think it'll be perfect. Technically speaking, American Fugitive isn't anything to write home about. However, with its presentation style, I can really appreciate it, and again, for me, I'm harkening back to something like Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, and that game was tremendous. And as long as American Fugitive is priced accordingly, I think this game can turn out to be rather good. Again, it's made by Fallen Tree Games, a studio that you guys might not be all too aware of, but they do have some veterans of the industry, and they've worked on a couple of other lower key titles. However, it looks like American Fugitive is their first game that could translate into being a little bit noteworthy. We'll see how the game turns out. Again, it will be dropping May 21st, and I think there's potential here for it to be something pretty good. Will it hit that masterclass in game development tier? Probably not, but I do think it could be something rather interesting, and I'm excited to hear more about the game and keep you guys posted on it as we are closing in on that May 21st release. And lastly, I do want to give a shout out to a former PC exclusive making the transition to the PlayStation 4, and that is GIGA. It is coming in the alt version, and that'll be adding some more content. Become more than human and save mankind from total annihilation from legendary developer Game Freak. Game Freak, the guys that worked on Pokemon, comes in action-adventure like no other. Manipulate the world around you and smash the evil Ajit to smithereens. This was released all the way back in February of 2017 on PC, and it got a very positive reception over there. The game is set in the near future where Earth has been ravaged by robot invaders. The fate of the planet rests on the shoulders of a young girl who becomes more than human. And cursed with cybernetic powers beyond comprehension, it is up to Reika Rekeji to save humanity from the evil Ajit in an exciting new game from the legendary developer Game Freak. GIGA touts the combination of frantic platforming, intense combat, and physics-based puzzle challenges into one exciting adventure. By destroying robotic enemies and the world around her, Rika can form the resulting debris into all manner of weapons and tools. Use these to overcome obstacles and solve puzzles, navigate through platform-laden levels, and then take the fight to the robot invaders and save mankind from extinction before it's too late. It's a 2D action adventure where you'll smash enemies and destroy scenery, then manipulate the debris to create all kinds of weapons and tools that can help you solve physics-based puzzles, overcome fiendish traps, and face off against powerful bosses hell-bent on your destruction, and gather experience and blueprints to expand your skills and abilities, then take the fight to the evil Ajit and save humanity. The game was released at a $19.99 price point on PC, and I imagine that the new version on the PlayStation 4 will be priced similarly. Again, it's gotten a positive reception on Steam, and hopefully it makes a very smooth transition to the PlayStation 4, and I think generally it's gonna have some attention around it because it is being developed by Game Freak, and it does look to be a pretty compelling 2D action-adventure title. Looks to be similar to something like Mega Man, but with its own unique nuances for sure. Love the visual style, and this one has the potential to turn out to be something pretty good. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, while we have so many exciting and big budget titles, I think it's important to always shine a little bit of light on these games like Warlander, games like American Fugitive, and games like GIGA that are for sure to go a little bit under the radar. In the case of all of these games, they will be out in 2019, and American Fugitive is actually out relatively soon on May 21st. Personally speaking, Warlander has really captured my interest based on the fact that I loved Metal Gear Rising, and with a similar gameplay style to that, yeah, you've got my attention, and it looks like there is a lot of emphasis being put on the narrative as well, and I can always get behind a quality narrative with quality gameplay, and it looks like Warlander is looking to deliver that. And as far as charming 2D action games go, GIGA looks pretty impressive as well. Let us know which of these 3 games interests you the most, and let us know if you would like to continue to see us cover these more niche games that are going a little bit under the radar. because I think the more we talk about them, the more you guys are gonna know about them. And again, if you don't pick them up right away, maybe sometime down the line, if they go on sale, or if they're received very well by critics as well, then you can make up your decision a little bit more definitively. But at the very least, we'll like to get these games on your radar. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.